teens living in a shelter because they're running away or homeless isn't necessarily because they don't have a place to live. It's because they're often unable to be there or they don't want to be there.
According to the National Runaway Safeline, about 1.6 to 2.8 youth run away every year, with 32,000 of those youth being from Orange County. So the Teen Leadership Council set out to see what the communities in Orange County were doing.
So I am Pamela Sepulveda, the Community Outreach Director here at Casa Youth Shelter. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been at the shelter for 16 years. I work directly with the shelter teens who are in crisis, running away on the streets or getting kicked out of their homes. While the residents are staying here at the shelter, they are obviously provided shelter, all their meals, any clothing that they might need or toiletries. They get to live just like you would in your house. So they have showers and they have their meals and snacks. And so those are your basic need resources, all right? But we also offer within the shelter the resource of community and family. And so helping teenagers re-engage in a family process, either with the other residents here and the staff, but also more importantly, we have a counseling program where they're involved in individual and group counseling, but family counseling as well, where they're re-engaging with their family to try to move forward to a more stable and safe home environment so that they can hopefully go home. Our shelter sees families from very high-end socioeconomic areas to very low end, and each family is treated the same with the same types of services. The stress that the youth are facing here, about a third of our young people are engaged in drug and alcohol use or abuse, all right? And those are the teens that are self-reporting use or abuse. We can't obviously know beyond what people are self-reporting. So I would say drug and alcohol are one of the big stressors. And then family communication skills, an ability for a family to communicate and cope with the daily life of stress that families have. Parents today are sometimes lacking and not knowing where to turn to get that help with just kind of basic communication skills. The largest cities served by our shelter we get most teens from, like the highest number of teens from Anaheim, Santa Ana, and Long Beach. But that's not because those cities have particularly higher issues with their teens, but that's because those are really big cities in the area, right? Everywhere else we get one or two, and those cities serve maybe 10 to 12% of our clients come from those different cities. Everywhere else it's like 1 or 2% come from every city. So we're getting kids from San Clemente, we're getting kids from Ranches Palos Verdes, and we're getting kids from Stanton. We're getting youth from all over because it's not a socioeconomic issue, it's a family dynamic issue. This is not an issue of like a bunch of bad kids running away. This is a bigger issue than just the youth that you see on the street. That youth belongs to a family, and that family had an issue, and that family needed support. So rather than criminalizing youth who are running away, we want to make sure that we are understanding their story and supporting youth on the prevention side, supporting youth and families so that we can strengthen them so that the youth don't run away and become homeless.
Youth were also heading over to the CSP Youth Shelter.
Okay, so I'm Fidel. I work with CSP. Currently I'm working the Gang Prevention Youth Development Program, but I am connected to the Huntington Beach Youth Shelter. So the Huntington Beach Youth Shelter is a 2 to 3 week program that focuses on at-risk youth and homeless youth. We provide family services and family reunification. That is the main focus of the program. The kids live there for 2 to 3 weeks, and they live in a very structured and safe environment, and that's fairly much the gist of it. So when the teens first come in, it takes them 2 to 3 days to adjust to the program, and they adjust to the structured, and they just get used to being safe. After that, they really have time to focus on themselves and their issues. So there is a very significant change in terms of stress when they first come in versus when they get out of the program. The biggest reason they come in is because they need some time away from their issues. It could be, obviously, there is a lot of stress related to that, but they just need some time away from everything. The teenage years are like one of the most, one of the toughest years to go through. and a lot of changes, a lot of life changes, a lot of body changes. So it could cause significant stress.
Like the youth, women were also seeking for help as they headed over to the Lynn House.
A house where I volunteer, it's called the Lynn House. They take 6 women at a time for the primary period, which is 30 days, and then they'll take 6 more women for the transitional period. The women do have to call in at 9 a.m. if they want to be admitted, and then it is, you know, not always like they won't always get admitted that first day. They'll have to call in continuously, and sometimes it can take a couple weeks. These women come from all different backgrounds. A lot of them come from well-off backgrounds. Some of them have had more difficult lives, but I mean, in a lot of their lives, drugs and alcohol have played a factor. So I don't think that discriminates. It could be any type of woman. It's not any economic background that really determines whether they'll be in this place or not. They're thinking about what's going to come next for me. I have to go out and make everything right. They're getting like a second chance at life. So they're definitely, I would say they call it future tripping. They're thinking about the future. What am I going to do next? How am I going to make everything that I've done wrong right? Like, you know, reflecting on the past a lot, thinking about what I've done wrong. So I think it's hard for them just to stay present. So I think the past and the future are definitely the biggest stresses. All of these people have their futures ahead of them. Like nothing's blocking them from it, just like circumstances and addiction and things of that nature.
After talking to people like Pamela from the Casa Youth Shelter, which is based in Los Alamitos, and Fidel from the Youth Shelter, which is based in Huntington Beach, and even Hillary, who volunteered at the Lynn House, which helps battered women overcome their struggles in an all-women's environment, the Teen Leadership Council wanted to know what it was like to be a resident in a youth shelter, and how impactful they actually were, considering the fact that it is estimated that a little over 32,000 youth in Orange County are bound to run away every year and potentially seek help from a shelter. We really wanted to know what was in store for them and what kind of an impact and benefit they would be receiving. So, the Teen Leadership Council decided to interview Evelyn Ruiz, a freshman in high school who had actually stayed at the CSP Youth Shelter in Huntington Beach.
My name is Evelyn Ruiz. I am 15 years old, and I currently go to Fountain Valley High School. I have to say that at the age I went to the shelter, it was very difficult for me to comprehend everything that was going on. So I'd say stress was a huge factor of the reason I decided to go to the youth shelter in Huntington Beach. I think attending there was like a huge help that I needed at the moment. In order to actually fix what you have to know what it is before you could get into it. I know if I probably hadn't chosen to take that shelter and help from the shelter, I think it would have affected me, and like I don't think I would have the grades or like have the passion to continue working hard to get back clean. But I think the environment we live in really affects the teenagers living here, and I think it does bring stress into this community for teenagers, my group of age. When I was in first grade, my father got very ill. My mom would always be in the hospital with him. My brothers were all in school. And I remember that my mom was like, "Oh, we can't be at home, so we're gonna send you to your aunt's." And I was living at my aunt's for, I would say, a year or so, and for me, I think it affected me, academic-wise, because I got held back, and my mom would question, like, why, you're a very bright girl, your reading is fine, because they held me back because of reading and for English, and I think that was the main stress that caused that, so yeah, I do believe that academically it could affect a person, especially like losing a home and losing what they call shelter and what they call, love and the root of them and stuff, so. yeah, I think it does affect them a lot, personally.
Thank you for sharing that. It's okay. That there is help out there. It sometimes doesn't look like it's as quick as you'd like it to be, but you can't get help if you don't ask for help. And so just be open to the people who want to support you.
There are a lot of resources, a lot of good people in the world, a lot of agencies that really want to help. As a teen, I feel like the first step is asking for help. So if you guys have any issues or problems, just know that there is a lot of resources and help out there.
If they were needing help, there is help out there. They would just have to find it. I mean, if they need, in the case of these girls that need to get sober, if they have addiction in their life, there's programs that can help you get sober. So that's definitely out there.
We always have to be there for each other, you know, like one day we'll be able to find and get together and stop this, because it's not fair to see young children having to go through it. It's not fair seeing kids' dreams or lose hope, or not be able to actually be determined to continue because they want to focus on helping their family financially. I think, as many say, the kids are the future, and if we bring so much stress upon all of them, I don't think we'll be able to make it far out in life.